Hi everybody, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are Arne Carlos, and today Arne has decided
I have bad hair day. I have like podcast hair.
Which means we were gonna be doing one of those fun episodes where we are gonna crochet a granny square from beginning to end, and you're not gonna be seeing us. Instead, we will be talking about design, inspiration, and color.
And we're using the sock yarn, and we are doing scarves like this, so you can have a little bit of color in winter.
So let's clear the table. Just clear the table and start.
Hello.
Yes, here we are starting up the crochet square.
Yes.
And this is such a fun format that we've come up with, doing the project from beginning to the end, talking about whatever it is we're going to talk about. And it means that you guys can just kick back, relax, go grab yourself a cup of tea. If you're working on anything special, bring it out, sit down and join us. If you can't actually do a project right now because you're busy doing something else, maybe that something is something that you can do as you listen to us, so that you can be busy with your thing and just listen to us. It's kind of like what we do when we sit down in front of the TV and listen to the TV or the radio and do our crafts.
Because we have to do craft in front of the TV, if not we fall asleep.
Well, Arne more than me.
Yeah, actually more me.
Yeah.
So. And now we're doing another fun thing with the yarn, the sock yarn. We've done a lot of different things with sock yarns, not only socks.
Exactly. You can do so many other things.
We've done the teddy bear, as you might have seen, and we used the sock yarn for birds, and now we're doing the scarf.
Yeah, it's going to be a scarf. These are granny squares, and it's going to be a scarf. We're going to be talking about this in depth. We've got about an hour to go while we do the crochet. In between, we might actually give you some tips if there's something that we want to tell you about what we're doing. But remember, this is not a tutorial. There is a tutorial on the granny square and on the joining of the granny square. We did those a couple of years ago, and you can just go on to arnecarlos.com or to the YouTube channel and download it there. I'm saying this, I keep repeating this, but it's something that we've just been realizing, that a lot of people have been following us from the beginning, 2 years now that we have our channel. Thank you so much for your support. But there's a lot of people who are just becoming acquainted with us, people who never went into our channel. Maybe they've just stumbled on this format, and maybe this is what they like. They don't want to see our faces. They just want to see us do something, right? And for those people, it could be good to know that we've done about 115 tutorials already on YouTube. We've been posting them every week on Sundays. And they're all about everything. They're on knitting, they're on crochet, they're on embroidery, they're on gardening. There's so much there. And so if you don't know who we are and you're enjoying this format and you want to have the pattern for the crochet granny square, you need to go and look at our videos. And, maybe you could spend a whole weekend binge watching. We'll support you for that. What do you say, Arne?
Of course.
Close the video and then open up a new one. Yeah. Binge watch until you drop. That could be fun.
Drop the stitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so funny. Oh my god. So, yeah. The reason why we're doing the scarf is that it's so funny to crochet with this yarn, because you get this groups of color in different places, or actually you don't know where the colors are coming, because
that's the fun thing about
the yarn. So that's the fun thing. That's what I'm trying to say. My English is so bad.
No, it isn't. Your English
because
is getting
now
better
I had
and better.
a Christmas holiday. I can't speak.
Yeah, no, your English is getting better and
English
better
for a long time.
Yeah, your English is getting better and better, so don't worry about it. Don't apologize. You don't need to apologize for anything, Arne.
Okay.
This is our channel.
Okay.
This is our house.
That's true.
We can do whatever we want, and we don't have to apologize.
No, we never apologize.
No, don't apologize.
Never.
Yeah, so we're working on this granny square, and we're excited about the way the colors are coming along. And it will be, you know, it's suspense. We're in suspense now because we really don't know where the splashes of colors are going to come. But I know it's going to be a gorgeous granny square in the end. I love the effect of it looking so random. It looks like you've kind of dripped the paint on it in a way, you know what I mean? It's, you know, like you get a brush and you dip it in paint and then you just, you know, do that against it, splash it, and it just becomes random. And I think that this is going to be more or less the result when we finish this this granny square.
Yeah. See, now there's a purple, light purple
Yeah, there is.
color coming up.
And as you can see, Arne is a very fast crocheter. We've been criticized for this quite a lot in on our videos, that we are too fast.
But
and
you can slow down the video if you want.
Yeah, the best option for people who think we're too fast in a tutorial is to slow down the video. Because, you know, I mean, we apologize for being too fast, and then somebody comes in and says, you don't have to apologize for being too fast. You're actually, you know, your speed is perfect for us. And so we get criticized for that.
There are probably people who think it's too slow also.
Exactly. So some people will think it's too
and we
fast.
can never win this one.
No, we can't. Some
and I
people
don't
will,
care.
No.
I crochet it my way.
And some people will think it's too fast. Some people will think it's too slow. And the best option is for us to go fast, and then you can slow it down. And if you think we're too slow, I don't know. I mean, sorry. Then go get a life. And I'm saying that as a joke. I'm not. Being,
No,
I'm not being serious.
But some people might get a life. Should
Yeah.
get a life.
But now I have a really big smile on my face.
Especially if they write on the blog, no, on Facebook or something with big letters. You're too fast with big letters. That's like screaming.
Yeah.
I don't like people screaming at me.
Yeah, but anyway,
Just
I was
because of
joking about the
crochet.
whole Get Alive thing, and I wanted to lead that into a thing that happened on our first podcast, where I made a joke about our Christmas balls. I was talking about being famous for our balls.
Oh, you shouldn't.
And I think that sometimes my humor can be a little bit ironic and sarcastic, and if you don't actually see the expression on my face, you might actually think I was serious. And and I just kept going on and on and on about our balls, and actually some people that were listening to the podcast, they took it so seriously that they wrote emails to us to, you know, try to comfort me and tell me not to worry about it and all of that. And the whole time it was a joke, and I was actually saying it with a twinkle in my eye and a smirk on my face. The whole, we're all so famous for our balls.
Maybe it's more funny in Norwegian. That's why I think it's so funny.
I guess so, yeah.
Maybe.
But anyway, it's all a joke. We're trying to be, you know, we are pretty
So
laid back,
You
casual.
shouldn't try to be funny.
No, and I'm definitely not going to try to be funny because
Not be funny.
that's going to go wrong. That's going to go terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're watching this, you can see the quick way that Arne does it. I can't crochet this fast. I mean, very few people can. We even did a crochet competition once where we timed Arne and tried to get people to do
That
the
was
same.
stressful. I was so slow.
Yeah, because we stressed you.
You stressed me. I'm quicker when I just crochet,
Yeah.
like what I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about how quick you are. It's the joy of crochet.
Yeah, it's the joy of getting there at one point or
Yeah.
another.
And you also might see that I'm holding the needle the wrong way. Some people tell me I'm holding the needle.
And so do I, by the way.
Yeah, and so do you. So we're both holding the needle the wrong way. But I don't know, I don't think there's any wrong or right way to hold the needle.
No, I mean, in Norway, what makes me a little bit sad is that, you know, when we hold the needle our way and we crochet it the way we do, sometimes we get told off by ladies or women who have been crafts teachers in school. And I think that it's a little bit sad to get this, you know, this kind of slap in your face. They tell us that you're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah,
And I think that by doing that, they also have discouraged a lot of people from learning. I think that it's not how you get there that counts. It's the fact that you get there in the end, that you make your project, that you finish it off, show it to people with pride and say, I made this, and I enjoyed every minute of my crafting. That's the most important thing. How you hold the needle, or what technique do you use, if you were taught, if you're self-taught. I mean, those things don't really matter, do they?
No. And I heard a lot of boys, they give up crocheting because they just can't hold the needle the right way.
Yeah, well, the right way according to these craft teachers.
Yeah, because they're told in school that the needle should be held in a certain way. But a lot of boys can't hold the needle. That is kind of like a very girly way.
Yeah, it's a very delicate way of holding it, and our hands are bigger.
Maybe that's not politically correct to say girly way.
Well, it's not that it's a girly way. I think it has to do with the size of your hand and the size of the needle and the way you're going to hold it with a few fingers. It's just not natural for some people. Doesn't have to mean it's a woman who holds it that way and the man holds it another way.
I met a lot of women who crochet the same way as I do.
Exactly. So it's not about...
But they're also told they do it the wrong way.
Yeah, but it's not about if you're a girl or a man. It's about the way it feels natural for you to hold the needle. It's kind of like when you're left-handed and you're forced to be right-handed. I mean, that used to happen in the past, and I think that's also terribly wrong.
Yeah. I think it's a waste of time. We shouldn't just spend time on how to hold the needle.
No. How to hold the needle is irrelevant.
Because if you see, I'm doing grandma square.
Yeah, hold the needle any way you like, and do it any way you like.
Anyway.
So, and that's the way to do it. There's another thing when we do our granny squares, because we do them differently. We like doing them with double trebles instead of single trebles. And the reason we do that is because it's quicker and it's nicer. It looks nicer.
Have you done some, what you call the single one?
The single treble?
Single treble. I think we have one piece with single trebles, and it's like felted.
Yeah, and with double...
we crochet tight.
Yeah.
So... And
they become tiny. These granny squares in single trebles are tiny. And when you do them in a double treble, they're double the size, obviously. And again, when we did our first tutorial on the granny square, we had comments from people saying it was wrong because a granny square is supposed to be knitted crocheted in single trebles.
How can that be wrong?
I don't know, but they said it, and I'm thinking it's not wrong. We are designers.
Oh my God.
It's our
Are
privilege.
You reading all these things?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I never read it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's our privilege to design it the way we want, and if we want to do double trebles, we'll do double trebles. We could also do triple trebles if we want to.
Triple trebles, and we can put the yarn like 4 times on the needle. I don't know what that is in English, but a 4th double treble.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what it is, but anyway, my point is, these granny squares are crocheted in double trebles, not single trebles. And for anybody wondering, because I'm sure somebody is wondering right now, what hook size are you using for the sock yarn? It's the crochet hook number 3, so 3mm, the European size 3mm. If you're American, I'm not sure right now what the size is, but go online and get a conversion chart, and you'll see.
In Japan, it's a 5, because the needle we use is from Japan, and it has the European size and the Japanese size.
Yeah. And for the American size, as long as you know it's a 3mm, you can find the conversion chart online. And you can figure it out from there.
Or you can actually try any needle and you can see if you like the tension.
Yeah.
Because this is a grandma square for a scarf, so it makes no difference if it's too looser or tighter. If you think it's too tight and you get a small square, just make more rounds.
Yeah, or go up a size in needle as well.
Or go up size.
Yeah.
That is easy to fix.
Yeah, we do get that question so often, the whole needle size or hook size. And to tell you all the truth, we're not very particular about that, are we, Arne?
No.
I mean, we just take a needle and use it.
And we see if we like the tension.
Yeah, and if we like the tension, we keep going. Yeah. If we don't like the tension, we'll go up or down, depending on how we find the tension. If we find it to be a little bit looser, we'll go down. If we find it to be too tight, we'll go up a size. And when you're doing, and this is very important to say,
I think you have to use like common sense.
Common sense is good. And also you have to think about this. When you're doing an accessory that is not dependent on a size, so for example, a scarf or a blanket or even a Christmas ball, you don't really need to think about the size of the hook because the tension doesn't really matter. because you're not actually making something that has to be in a certain size. Now, if you're going to do a sweater, you should definitely follow the gauge on the instructions, because that is going to be done according to your size. A small, a medium, a large, an extra large, whatever. But when you're doing an accessory and you don't need to think about the size of the accessory or the fit, the needle or the hook size becomes less and less relevant.
But also for clothing, if you have worked with the yarn before, you probably know the tension, so you can just cast on more stitches than what's in the pattern.
Yeah, if you know you're knitting, you can do that easily.
So it's not so hard.
No, so don't think that's a piece of advice I think is very important to give everybody. Don't get too hooked. Don't get too hooked on your size, on your needle size or on your hook size, because take it a little bit easy, do a little test, see if you like the tension. If you don't like it, you can change. If you like it, keep it as it is. Don't worry too much about it. It's not the end of the world if the hook size, that the pattern of a scarf, of a crocheted scarf, says size 3mm and you're using a 2.5 or even a 3.5. And remember that 0.5 millimeter is virtually nothing. If you think about it.
Yeah. And there's another thing also we have to explain, because we posted a picture of a granny square on Instagram, and then we got comments, or maybe Facebook also, we got comments that every second row was on the back.
Yeah.
And that's true. Every second row is on the back. So
what we do is we turn.
So that's right, very correct.
That's a good observation that some people have made. Very good eyes when they see the picture of the crocheted scarf and they see that half of the stitches are done in the backwards way. Now what we're doing on every round is we're turning.
Yeah, just watch me now.
So you see? And now we go into a new round.
And then
I'm thinking
I'm slow. No, just watch. You see now?
See, after you pull the yarn. Yeah, well this is because it's such a pretty yarn.
Yeah. Look.
Yeah, but are you turning it? There we go. There we go. And he turned it.
I turned it.
Okay, so you want to know the reason?
That's why I'm not. Now I was slow.
Yeah.
I'm really slow now. Look.
Oh, don't apologize. We've gone through this before. You don't need to apologize for being slow because you are the fastest crocheter I know. Anyway, people are wondering why we're doing that. Why are we turning after every round? There's a good reason for that.
Not really. It is.
I think it's a great reason.
Well, you don't have to turn it, but we like to turn it.
Yeah, because
if you don't turn it, you get the front side and you get the back side.
Yeah, you get one side that is supposed to be the right side, and then you get the back side.
But on this one, you get two sides looking the same.
Because you're turning it all the time. So you get on one round, the stitches are facing the right side, and then on the other round, the stitches are facing the wrong side. So when you do right side, wrong side, right side, wrong side, and so on, you get a reversible scarf that looks identical on both sides.
Yeah, and then when you turn it, you don't have to do slip stitches over the double crochets or the trebles or whatever, because you just take a slip stitch into the first double treble and you turn it, and then you do a stitch around the chain and you start again.
Yeah, I have to say, Arne, this is genius.
I know.
Did you make this up yourself?
I don't remember.
I'm sure you did.
I think a lot of people do this.
You think?
I think so.
Well, maybe, yeah. Anyway, whoever made it up, if it wasn't you, whoever made it up is a genius.
I probably learned it somewhere.
Obviously, you must have. Yeah. But it's such a great way to do a crocheted piece, like a blanket or a scarf, that is reversible.
Yeah, if you don't care about the second row being a purl side.
Yeah.
But if you care about that, then you should just crochet around from one side. But we think it's nicer. And when you're wearing a scarf, it's so annoying if you have the scarf and you talk to people, and then some people, they just can't help it. They have to turn your scarf because the wrong side is
showing.
Showing.
Yeah, I know.
and then they're
that's
picking
so
on your
annoying.
scarf and turning it around, and it's like they are.
And you're like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
they're like
leave me alone.
reorganizing your
life.
look.
Yeah.
So for this one, if someone wants to reorganize your look and turn your scarf, they will get a surprise because it's the same on the other side.
Not that you, Arne, put so much time on organizing your look. I mean, wasn't it you who said, "Oh, this is something I just threw on me,"
I know.
and then that's how it turned
And
out.
then it looks good.
Yeah, and there's a story to that. There is a story about a granny square blanket that
Yeah.
we made for, actually 2 granny square blankets that we made for the book Knit and Crochet Garden. It was our book in 2013. But because we live in Norway, it's a summer book, right? Actually, we wanted to do a book on gardening, but our publisher said no, because they knew that they could sell more if we did a crafts book. So what we did was we disguised our garden book as a craft book. So it's called Knit and Crochet Garden, and all the inspiration is taken from the garden.
And
But
at
it's
least-
actually...
At least we got to show pictures from the garden.
Yeah, we did. So it's kind of like a garden book. It's a tribute to our own garden. And the photographs were taken in 2012. So the book came out in Norway in 2013, but we had to photograph it a year in advance. The reason for that is because we have a very short summer. Sometimes if you blink, it just passes by and you
Well-
never even see it
Was it the last year? The summer was in May for like
for like 2 weeks.
2
Yeah.
weeks.
And I actually said, "Oh, we might as well enjoy it. This could be the last day of summer,"
And it
it
was.
was. But anyway, back to our crochet throw. So we were doing the photo shoot in 2012. We spent 4 days photographing in our garden, and we were in a hurry because the weather changes so quickly here. You know, 1 minute it can be sunny, and then the next minute it's raining, and sometimes it can just start snowing in the middle of summer too. You never know. So we had this plan, and we were photographing everything, and we wanted to photograph the granny squares, but we didn't want to make them, put them on a wall, hang them on a wall flat. So we made up this kind of teepee tent with branches, and we draped the granny squares and made like a really nice, cozy camping scene of sorts. And after we had photographed it, we just needed to take everything down and bring it in the house in case it was going to rain, and then go to the next location. And we were all in a hurry, rushing, and then Arne just threw the crochet blankets on him and started walking. And our photographer and the stylist and we just yelled, "Stop here, Arne." And Arne stopped.
Oh, it looked so good.
And he looked so good. He looked amazing with all these granny square blankets draped all over him. If you're curious about the picture, go to our Instagram. Our Instagram is ARNE CARLOS. Just ARNE CARLOS is one word. And check it out. You could scroll back to 2017. We posted it last fall.
And I think by the time you listen to this scarf will be finished.
Probably, yeah.
So we just throw it on and put a picture out there.
Yeah, there's going to be a photograph of the finished scarf on Instagram too.
Or you already posted maybe by now.
We have posted, but we could post more.
Yeah.
And it would be nice that there's a photograph of the scarf, of this particular one, coinciding with the release of this podcast.
And this is not the only one. We have more, like half finished, and we should do a picture together, one scarf each.
Yeah,
just
it's gonna be the we threw these on.
Yeah.
Oh, these old things that we just
This
threw
old
on us.
thing.
It's gonna be that kind of a photograph, and
But it's like with these scarves, it's almost like with the teddy bears, because we started to do the teddy bear in sock yarn, and it's really hard to stop because they look so good.
yeah,
And
they
it's the
do.
same with the scarves. You just have to make one scarf in every color combination. You see, look at the color blocks.
Yeah, the
or
little
what you
speckled.
call
I call those specks.
specks.
So those little specks in green and white.
I think it's so nice because you never know where it pops up.
And it's all random. It's all asymmetric.
Yeah, and you get these nice groups of colors.
Mm-hmm. And I love it that it's asymmetric. I'm not a very symmetrical person, I've come to realize. I'm a little bit odd in those things. I don't like symmetry unless it's, I mean, for some things, obviously. But I prefer this asymmetrical things, you know, the imperfections are what I find more interesting. So the fact that the color is not evening out, it's, you know, you have concentrations of colors in one side and then something else on the other side. I find that so much more visually appealing and visually interesting.
Is that asymmetric?
That's asymmetrical, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's not
But
symmetry.
asymmetrical can also be very wrong. You remember we made a blouse once with ruffles around the neck?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And
Yeah.
we put the ruffles, like most of the ruffles were on, I don't remember if it was on the right. Now I had to see the blouse in front of me. I don't remember.
Oh, are you talking about my favorite blouse that we ever designed?
The one with gingham, red gingham.
Yeah, that was such a
and
beautiful asymmetrical blouse.
Because we put the ruffles on one side and it looked really good. Like we tried on both sides, but one side was not good and the other one was good. And I don't remember now which side.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so what you're...
It was a huge difference.
What you're trying to
if
say...
it was on left side or right side.
Yeah, and what you're trying to say is that on that particular blouse, when we put the ruffles and tried to make it symmetrical, it didn't work.
Oh, that did not work at all.
And then we had to remove some of the ruffles from one side
Yeah.
and make it asymmetrical so that it could work.
But I don't remember if it was on the right side or the left side it worked best.
Yeah, but that's your point, right?
Yeah.
The fact that sometimes symmetry needs to be perfect in order to work, and if you can't get it perfect, it's better to do it asymmetrical. That's what you're saying, right? Because I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think maybe that was what I was saying.
I think it is.
You know, it's hard to
Yeah.
talk and crochet.
Yeah, but you're doing a great job. But yeah, symmetry can be, I mean, yeah, symmetry is boring sometimes. I'm not saying always, but...
Or sometimes it's really nice if it's like candle holders or if you put vases, like two looking the same.
Yeah, okay, two vases looking the same, but then when you put flowers in, people tend to put odd numbers.
Yeah.
You know, they'll put 13 flowers, or they'll put 7 flowers, you know, things like that. I always like doing, you know, when I do arrangements of things, I always like to see a balance, but I don't want it to be a perfect balance. You know, it can fall a little bit on one side, and it can be smaller on the other, and you're looking for that balance that makes it kind of perfect, but in an imperfect way, if that makes any sense. And I think that it's the same with this scarf. Each square will be unique. You're crocheting them. Why do I say knitting all the time?
I don't know.
You're crocheting them from the same yarn, and each scarf is going to get the color spread depending on where the yarn color is. What did I say now?
No. Why do I say knitting all the time? Have you said that many times?
I think I've said it 2 times since we started talking.
Okay, so if Carlos talks about something you see on the video, it's crochet.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear.
Yeah, it's a disclaimer already.
And he know the difference.
And I'm smiling when I'm doing this, so when I'm saying this, so I'm taking it very, very lightly. I'm not a very serious person. I don't know how that could happen, that people thought that I was so serious, because I really am not. I am a very laid back, very relaxed person. I saw your face
and you looked happy.
I looked happy, yeah.
You looked happy.
Yeah. I just have this very dry sense of humor. I don't know why. I must have inherited it from... Oh, I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to offend my parents.
Oh, and you said it.
Yeah, but I didn't say which parent.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And they're both alive. So
one of them.
So anyway, I must have gotten my dry humor from someone.
From somewhere.
Yeah, maybe it was an uncle or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the crocheted...
Yeah, what did you talk about?
We were talking about symmetry and asymmetry and all that. And as you can see, it's coming along nicely, and you've got an edge with brown, and the other side, you can barely see it when Arne is moving his hand. The other side is green. And they've got the speckles on the top, and then the purple is on the inside. And eventually there's going to be some red, because I do recall seeing some red in this yarn.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah. So now, if you don't know who we are, if you've just stumbled on this podcast, if it's the first one in your life that you've ever seen with Arne and Carlos, and you might actually be wondering about the yarn that we're using. What is this yarn? What is this gorgeous, beautiful, stunning ball of yarn that they're crocheting with? It's actually designed by us.
Really?
Yeah. Well, but if people don't know us, it's good for them to know. Yes, it's designed by
I'll
us.
try to be funny. Sorry.
I know.
You know? Okay.
Yeah, and it's a collaboration that we've been having for a few years with Regia. We kind of design yarns for them that they then manufacture and sell. And they've been very successful. They are meant for sock knitting. But as you can see from this podcast, you can do them for anything you want. You don't have to knit socks with them. You can do crocheted granny squares. You can do teddy bears, wrist warmers,
Yeah,
hats,
we've seen wrist
shawls,
warmers and hats and shawls.
loads of
Really
things.
nice. We also saw a woven shawl. It was woven. That was really nice.
Very beautiful.
With the sock yarn in both, like, I don't know the English word, but in both directions, like renning or inslag. What's that?
Oh wow! And now you come with these Norwegian words that I don't know how to translate.
Oh, so renning is the yarn or the threads that is going through the loom, like straight in front of you, and the inslaget is the color you put in.
Yeah, when you put it through the threads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sock yarn was used for both.
Yeah,
And
you can use
really
it for
nice.
anything you like. It's a very good quality sock yarn. This one is a 4-ply. We've also designed 6-plies. This is the Regia design line by Arne and Carlos, and we are working with one of the Telemark, the Beltestock series. Yeah, I'm quite sure.
And now the red is coming soon.
Yeah.
So there will be a splash of red somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember quite which one it is, but I'm going to look it up. You know, if you just talk to people a little bit about what's happening now with that knot that you have there, I'm going to look up the color for you guys.
You see, sometimes I open the knot, and sometimes I'm not. I'm not open the knot. So, but if there's a knot, sometimes you can open it. It's possible. If not, you don't. You pretend didn't see it, and you just crochet along.
And yeah, sometimes it's annoying to get those knots in the yarn, but I mean, it's the way it is. It's understandable. They have their manufacturing process, and sometimes you get knots, but not on the perfect.
No,
I don't think you can get it on the Regia Perfect line.
I've never seen it. I don't think it is.
No, because then it wouldn't work, would it?
No.
Okay, so I'm looking for the color.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can find it. It's probably here.
I never remember these colors, but I think this is the collection that was inspired of the folk costume from Telemark.
It is, yeah. No, this is the Telemark. I'm just trying to figure out which one it is.
Maybe we should keep the labels that is on the yarn, because I tend to throw them away all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm working with.
Yeah, I'm looking for it now, and it's taking a little bit longer than I was expecting. I'm sorry, but it's coming here in a minute. But yeah, here's the red.
Carlos is much younger than me, so he do this youngster thing. He's checking internet.
Yeah, but I'm not doing very
information.
well, am I?
I'm hardly never checking internet. Sometimes I do, but not so often, because there's a lot of wrong information also.
Yeah, but I mean, this should be very straightforward to find, but it's not.
No, so you know all the wrong information on internet. Have you read like the Wikipedia things?
Yeah. I don't trust Wikipedia. I never.
Sometimes it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, who wrote that?
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah, I think we might have to just skip this, and I'll probably just write down the color on the blog
put
later
it on
on.
the blog.
Put it on the blog because I am. Oh no! Here it is. Here's the Regia design line, and the color here it is. It's tin. It's color 02462 tin, TINN.
So that's a place in the area called Telemark.
That's a place in Telemark, yes.
So
Wait, hang on. No. I made a big mistake. It's not tin. It's Vinje. Sorry,
it's
Vinje.
another place in Telemark.
Another
so we're
lovely
still in the
place.
same area.
Yeah, a lovely place in Telemark. This is
So-
Vinje. The code, so forget everything I said. The code is 02464 and it's Vinje. Now we have to tell everybody about the way we design the colors and why they have these weird names like Vinje and Tin and Stokke and all that. This is the series 3, I think it is. And this one was inspired by Norwegian folk costumes.
From Telemark, and they have this belt. It's almost like is it called obi belt, the Japanese belt?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Japanese obi,
Yeah.
but it's not in silk, obviously. It's in wool,
So it's,
and it's embroidered.
and we saw a lot of different belts with different color
Yeah, and then we can
combinations.
explain the folk costume. The folk costume, it's a woman's costume. It's a full skirt. I think they call it a dirndl.
A dirndl.
Dirndl. A dirndl.
A dirndl.
Yeah, it's a dirndl. Dirndl.
Dirndl?
I think that's what it's called. But it's long. It passes the knees, and it's attached with kind of. It's got
Isn't that like almost down to the floor?
No, it's not. It's not all the way down. It's kind of like maybe 3/4.
Okay, I don't remember.
And it's actually and then there's a blouse, and there's a bodice as well, which is sleeveless. So it's actually like a dress with a dirndl full skirt.
with a
With a bodice, and then you put that over a blouse, and then to get your curves, you take the obi belt or the beltestak and you tie it. But the Japanese one, they tie it in a beautiful bow in the back, but the Norwegian one is tied in the front, I think, isn't it?
I don't remember. Maybe. It's tied somewhere.
Yeah,
That's for sure. It's
Yeah.
not hanging around.
and it's
Like-
very pretty. It
Yeah, it's
usually
beautiful.
consists of many colors, and it's a woven belt. It's quite wide.
Mm.
I think it's about that wide. How much would that be? I'm
It's
doing
like
it with my hands.
25 something.
30, 25, 30
Not 30,
centimeters? 25?
20 maybe.
Yeah, 25,
20,
25 centimeters wide. And it goes over your body or over your waist, and you tie it. And it's really pretty. Lots of different colors. It's woven. And
There was actually many color combinations when we looked at the folk costumes. So because we picked the color combinations from different belts.
yeah.
So
Yeah, they're all very pretty, and then we just took ideas from the beltestak, the colors from different belts, and applied them on the design of the yarn. What we did with the design of the beltestak, because it's very finely woven in wool, and the change of colors is quite quick. There's like not much space between each color. So what we did is we kind of blew that up, like kind of enlarged it and looked at it in more detail, and then just started picking the colors from that and designing the pattern to be reflective of the obi belt. However, you won't be able to actually see the pattern, the self pattern on of the sock, because we're not knitting a sock, we're crocheting a granny square. So you won't really see the design of the yarn, the pattern, but the colors are obviously there for you to enjoy.
But for the crocheting, you get another design,
Exactly, which is something random that we didn't
Yeah.
even plan.
and you get all the color.
Yeah. And I'm loving it like that. I mean, it's got the red on one side, it's got the brown on one side, and the green on the other side. And it's looking absolutely asymmetrical, a little bit chaotic, with splashes of color everywhere. And I can't wait to see how it turns out. I think it's going to be so
I think this will
beautiful.
be nice.
it will be very nice.
I think. And then we have to make more of these, so we crochet them together. And when you have a lot of these squares, and when you're going to crochet them together, you have to look at where the colors are. Like for this one, the red will be very strong in a way. So if you have red in the next one, you should look at them carefully and kind of decide a nice place to put the red color when you crochet them together.
Yeah.
You don't want to have red next to red.
No, exactly. So
Red
that will
should be like on left side from where it is, or
Yeah.
right side. Or
So that will be the challenge that all you guys who embark on this project will get.
and we can't
Once you do your granny squares, we can't tell you how
no,
to
we
crochet
can't give
them.
you
You have to
receipt.
look at them and put them together in a way that you find enticing and beautiful and appealing. It will be different for everybody.
Because every square will be different from every person.
So it will be like a little puzzle. You have to put them out, lay them out, and start, tweaking the granny squares, changing them. One goes there, one goes there. No, those two together, that doesn't look good. And that way, eventually you will get your own stunning granny square scarf with your color combination.
Yes,
Designed by us.
Exactly.
With our colors. Yeah.
Or if you want, you can also do one square in each square in different yarn. Then you get a really colorful scarf. But we stick with the same yarn on each scarf.
That's much for us. It's much more interesting because it's kind of like the whole where what will it look?
How will this yarn look?
Yeah, how will this yarn look if we use it from the beginning to the end?
So that's like with the teddy bear. How will this teddy bear look in this yarn?
Yeah. So let's not fast forward. Let's rewind a little bit, Arne.
Yeah.
Let's rewind to 3 years ago, around almost 4 now. So let's go back in time to 2014, when we were just barely starting our collaboration with Regia, and we were going to design our first sock yarns.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we met the people that we work with now, the engineer, was in Germany. It was in end of February. I had been down with the flu. I think you too, right? I think so. Yeah, we'd both been ill.
I have the memory of a goldfish. I can't remember anything.
No, but it was, we were talking about this the other day. It was that year.
Oh, I already forgot it. Was it the year I was sick?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We get the flu. We get the flu once every 3 years. It lasts for a week, and then we don't get it for 3 years. We're healthy for 3 years without any issues, and then we get the flu. And that happens every 3rd year, sometimes every 4th year. But yeah, back in time, 2014, we both had the flu. After the flu, we'd have a very quiet month in Norway where we were kind of feeling sorry for ourselves and being miserable.
And we're good at that.
And we're really good at that.
Oh,
then we had to pack up and go to Stuttgart to meet the people from Regia. And it was our first meeting with them. And that's when they tasked us they offered us the possibility to design the yarns. And we were still a little bit delirious from all the medication and all the days that we spent in solitary confinement. So it took a few days after we came back before we could kind of clear our minds and realize what we'd actually said yes to. And it was a great project because usually up until 2014, we'd actually designed either patterns or we designed garments when we were in the fashion industry. Usually color work, because that's what we're known for. And usually, but done by putting different yarns together. Take one yarn in one color, take another yarn in one color, take maybe a third yarn in another color, and mix them up and make a garment with that. And suddenly we were, going to do something very high-tech, engineered, and that was really a fun challenge. And also,
And
the way
very
to
different.
work,
Mm.
very different, and the way to think, to solve the design brief was very interesting for us because, we had to leave a little bit of this up to random as well, because that's the whole point. It's the whole the point of surprise. When you do something and it comes out and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is magic, but in fact it's actually very engineered by some engineers somewhere in Europe who calculate everything with mathematical programs. And so it's up to us to give them a little bit of leeway so that there can be a little bit of randomness as well. And, otherwise it's just too...
And it's also fun to see how it comes out, because when we make the drawing of the sock yarn, it's more like a pattern for knitting.
Yeah, the original
The
one,
original
yes, the
drawing,
templates.
the templates is very different from what comes out from the factory.
Yeah, then the engineers, they have to do their best.
Yeah. So we never know what we get. We just know the color combinations, but we don't know how the pattern will work.
Because it is a little bit free for interpretation as well. The engineers, they kind of look at it and they try to imitate it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and we have to tweak it. But they're really good. They're really good at what they do.
So it's really a fun project to work with. And we have news. Don't we have news?
Oh yeah, we've got a lot of news.
We have news for you. We're doing the sock yarn for kids.
Yes.
It's magic.
Yes.
The
By
magic.
the time you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure that the new Perfect line of children's socks will be out.
Oh, it's old news, maybe.
No, it's not old news.
No,
Nobody
it's
knows
news.
this. Well,
Nobody
unless
knows.
it's out already.
Yeah, we don't know when it's coming.
Well,
But it's
yes,
coming.
we do.
We do?
Yes.
You do?
End of January.
Okay, you do. I never know.
So if this is kind of mid-January or end of January, it will be out.
Yeah. Oh, that's the sock yarn in the what you call it again? Perfect?
Yeah, the perfect sock for children in the kids' colors. So
Yeah.
they're very colorful, and they are for small feet. If you are a kid or if you have small feet, you can knit them for yourself. Unfortunately, we have, regular men's feet, kind of normal size. I think size 7 or 8.
Is there
Something
a
like
normal?
American. That's a normal American men's feet size, I think. But anyway, we won't be able to wear them. But all the kiddies out there and all the people with small feet, because I'm sure that there are. My mom has really tiny feet, so she could probably wear the kids' socks. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to make them, in fun colors. We don't want to make them. Nowadays it should all be very neutral, gender neutral. But we still wanted to, do reds and pinks and blues and greens. So, and obviously, there's nothing wrong with a boy wearing pink or red if that's the color he wants to wear. So, hopefully, it'll be a big success and people will be loving and showing us their kids' socks on Instagram as we usually
and it's
get
always fun
tags.
Fun with colors.
Yeah, and it's always fun getting the tags as well and seeing what people are doing. So if you're knitting kids' socks, tag us on Instagram so that we can see your work. We always enjoy doing that, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so anyway, let's go back again. Now we went to the future, but let's go to the past again, to 2014, and talk a little bit about Edvard Munch. Mm. Edvard Munch, our great Norwegian artist and painter, who painted the iconic painting of the Scream, which I think if I say the Scream and you know that it's a painting, you will instantly be able to close your eyes and see that man in total anxiety, holding his both hands on top of his cheeks, looking out at the water, and it looks like he's screaming, or he's just very, very,
it's like
very
on a bridge or something.
upset. Yeah, he's on a bridge looking at the water.
Yeah.
So that painter, Edvard Munch, is a great source of inspiration for Arne and myself. The way he puts colors together, the way he paints is just incredible.
And we lived next to the Munch Munch Museum in Oslo for like 10 years.
And never went.
And we never went there. Because, you know, when you live next to something, it's like you can do it tomorrow and next week or something. But we never went there.
No.
That
And
is
the
crazy.
first time we went there was in 2009. After, I mean, we'd already started our business and we were 7 years into our career when we set foot in the Munch Museum the first time. A friend from France took us there. She came to visit us in Norway. We were staying here at our house up in the mountains, and we were going to drive her to the airport, and she wanted to go to the Munch Museum, and we went there, and I think my jaw dropped the moment we entered. After we purchased the tickets and entered, my jaw dropped, and it remained
It's
like
really
that for
good.
hours, and we just saw this treasure of paintings. And of course, I wanted to kick myself for not actually going when we were living there. I mean, we could have gone there every day.
I know.
But then maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Then the charm's gone. The magic is
It's too
gone.
close. You know, we have a lake in the garden and people think we swim a lot in summer.
Yeah, and we never do.
But we don't. Like last year, I don't think we went into the water.
Maybe a year ago we went once.
Yeah, but I don't think last summer.
But anyway, we're digressing now.
Okay,
So, Munch,
so yeah.
we take nowadays when people come to visit us. Like for example, I remember the team from Regia coming to Norway to meet us, and instead of meeting us in a boring hotel, we suggested the Munch Museum, and we spent the afternoon there and had our meeting there in the coffee shop, and went to see all the beautiful works of art. Whenever we have guests that come to Norway, if we pick them up or drop them off at the airport, it's a 2-hour drive. And it's worth it. We'll go to the Munch Museum, take them there, and show them this wonderful treasure that we have in Norway. And the Munch paintings, several of them inspired the first 6 Regia design line color combinations that we made. That's my point. That's what I was going to say. So yeah, the first 6 colors were inspired by Edvard Munch. We spent quite a long time in the museum just looking for the right paintings, and then we got the books and we went to the library and we Googled on internet, and the first 6 colors we managed to narrow down to 6 paintings, and we designed the template, and that was another thing because they never told us that we could have a template.
So we made one.
Yeah, they had like the ready-made templates for the sock yarn that other designers have used. But they didn't tell us that, and so we designed a whole new template. But I think that's the key to the popularity because it was so unique at the time.
It came out
Different
very
from
different.
everything else. And then we assigned each of the 6 color combinations, we assigned a painting to them. So, for example, there is a beautiful one that has greens and reds, and it's not very different from this one that we're working on now.
Which one?
It's Summer Night.
Oh, that's nice.
Summer Night is beautiful, and it looks a little bit like this one, but a little bit more muted in the colors. Then there's, of course, one of my favorites, the self-portrait. The self-portrait is the black one. It's got black and gray, and it's got orange and red, and a little bit of light blue. If you've knitted with that one, you will probably, nod and say, yep, I've done that, but you will know it as Fall Night instead of the self-portrait.
We had to tell something different, something else about the Munch also. We went to the Norwegian ambassador in Washington, and we talked about the sock yarn and we showed pictures, and there was the old lady in the public, what you call it? Public audience. And she recognized, she had the biggest private collection of Munch paintings, and she recognized the paintings from seeing the sock pictures.
She did. Yeah, you're right about that. She absolutely did.
I think that was very cool.
That was cool. And she was almost blind because she was so old.
She had to come up to the computer just to see the pictures really close.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Oh, that's the summer night."
And she'd actually seen an exhibition on Munch in the 50s, and decided that that was her artist and started collecting him. And it's incredible because today you will probably not be able to do that. The Scream was sold a few years ago. There's 4 versions of the Scream, and one of them was sold for $120 million or something. So imagine getting that in the 50s at an affordable price. Well, affordable for her in any case. That would have been incredible. We wouldn't have to work a single day, live off the painting for the rest of our lives. But again, that would be really boring. We'd rather work. We love working. We love our jobs. So we're okay with that. Anyway, yeah, the Scream. I'm mentioning the Scream. That one was the one that was yellow and orange and blue. The Scream colors, obviously. So we had actually selected the Scream as well as a painting. But then when we were talking to Regia and the marketing team about the color combinations, and we thought that why don't we just name them after the paintings instead of giving them a color code? Because a code 04522 is boring. When you can actually give it the name of the painting. And Regia thought that was a great idea until we said that one of the paintings was the Scream, and then the whole room went silent. And they said, in marketing terms, you can't really do that because it's a very negative word, the Scream. People are going to freak out. They're going to feel uncomfortable. It might not sell very well because of that. And, personally, I can't say I agree. But then again, I'm not a marketing person.
No.
So I really don't know, whether they're right or wrong. I think they're wrong, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I have never studied marketing. I have no clue. But anyway, therefore we actually agreed. We said, okay, if you don't want to call it the Scream, we can make up another name. And because we had Summer Night, there was another one called Twilight. No, sorry. There's Summer Night, there's Starlight, there's Moon Night, and there is Winter Night.
Winter Night.
And those 4 are actually paintings called that. And because we had those 4, we said, let's call the Scream, let's call it Twilight instead. And then when we did that, we ended up having the self-portrait, the one that everybody loves, the black, gray, orange, red with a little bit of blue. And then we thought we can't have, 4 nights,
4 different
a light,
nights,
and a self-portrait. So we decided, let's call it Fall Night because it's got the reds and the oranges, and it could be a fall painting. It's not. But it could be.
It could be. The colors are very...
And that's the way we named our first batch of Regia design lines. Then we, the whole thing became very successful. And at that point, I'm sure that the marketing team at Regia, if they would have known how huge the success would have been, they would have probably not said anything about the Scream. And we could have probably called it the Scream because I thought it was a really good name. And so, but anyway, they came back to us and said, why don't you do 6 more colors? This is so successful. Everybody's buying it. It's sold out everywhere.
And we looked at Munch again.
Yep. Back to the museum.
Back to the museum.
And there were so many amazing paintings to study. There was one particular that we absolutely adore. Could you try describing it, Arne?
Which one of them? The one with the girl?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a girl... it looks like she's kissing a man, or
she's a redhead,
but she has red hair, so it can also be she's killing him.
Well, yeah, because
it's like blood.
Yeah, because she's bending down and she's kissing him on the face, but her red hair is kind of over his face. So it could be that it's her hair, or it could be that she's just giving him the kiss of death, and he is dead, and it's blood. Coming out of his head.
It's blood.
And what's the name of the
paint? It must be blood. It's called the vampire.
The vampire. So obviously he's dead.
So he's dead.
And that is a beautiful,
it was a nice color combination.
Beautiful painting with a lot of browns, a lot of reds. There's purples. There's a lot of greens in it as well. It's stunning. And that's one of the paintings that we inspired ourselves for the 2nd edition. And obviously you can imagine Regia, we go back. And we show them 6 new beautiful color combinations. And we start talking about the paintings. And we say, this one's the vampire. And they reply, well, we hope you're not going to call it the vampire. And again, you know, it was kind of like the whole thing again, just the same as the screen. But by that time, I have to say, we were so blasé over the success that I just jokingly said to them, call it the vegetable garden if you like. And they did.
But wasn't vampires very trendy at that time? You have all the series, what's it called? The series we saw on TV.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't trendy with Regia for sure, because they didn't understand it.
Vampires everywhere.
Yeah, but not with Regia.
No.
So we ended up calling it the vegetable garden. Again, one of my very dry jokes that apparently they didn't really understand, because it was supposed to be a joke. Call it the vegetable garden.
But that was because there was a lot of garden stuff in the other paintings, wasn't there?
Well, there was an island.
And an apple garden.
The apple garden,
So it fitted in with the rest of the...
Yeah, but it was a joke, and it was like the first thing,
joke.
Off the top of my head. Call it the vegetable garden. And they did. So
there is one called
the
vegetable garden.
Wow, this is incredible. I mean, here we are talking, and time is absolutely flying.
I'm almost finished now.
Yeah, you're almost finishing up, and it's incredible how quickly an hour, a little bit more than an hour can pass. Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about one more thing before we finish this off. I want to talk about the teddy bear.
Yeah.
The Regia.
Should I crochet slower now?
No. I mean, we've got. I don't know. I mean.
We have time.
What?
Talk.
Let's say we've got 6 minutes.
Oh, talk.
We've got 6 minutes. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about the teddy bear, because it was also another funny thing that happened in the discussions with Regia. They told us that maybe we could do some designs to support the yarn. This was in the beginning, back in 2014, that we could do some designs to support the yarn. And when they said designs, they actually meant, sock yarn or sock design. So, we could do different little socks, maybe one with a cable on the side, maybe one with ribbing, maybe a long sock, things like that. But we didn't actually hear the word sock design. We heard the word design, and we decided to do a teddy in the sock yarn, which took them by surprise, but they were delighted, obviously. Mm-hmm. And again, it's an interesting thing how we as creative people don't necessarily think the way the marketing people think. They're asking for sock designs. We bring them a teddy bear that they're absolutely delighted with, and that becomes so popular and is knitted all over the world in not only the Regia sock yarns, but in other yarns. Although I like them best when they're knitted in our own yarns, I do have to say.
Is there any other yarns?
I don't know. I've never seen them.
Never seen them.
But our yarns, but in our yarns, they're really lovely. We've got about 21 different colors now. There's everything from vampire.
That means I'm going to have 21 scarves.
And 21 teddies.
And 21 teddies.
Yeah, we've got everything from, fall night and winter night, the scream, which is now twilight. We've got the telemark inspiration, which is this one, the beautiful yarn that we're using, Vinja, I think it was. There's tin, there's Seljord. There's Tokke. There's so many beautiful colors. Oh, and then we did the whole collection inspired by the geraniums as well. The beautiful geraniums in our greenhouse. So yeah, 21 colors, and then of course the perfects. So the family is growing, and now the kitty yarn, which is really, really great. The kitty yarn, I'm so much looking forward to it. Hopefully, things have gone as far as I think they have, so that there is something on Instagram for you to enjoy. Go and have a look at the kitty yarn pictures. You can definitely see the scarf of this on Instagram. If you want to get the pattern for the sock yarn, for the crocheted granny square, visit our blog, search granny square on the search engine in our blog, and bang, it will arrive.
Bang, there it is.
And there's even a tutorial for joining the granny squares as well.
You hardly don't need a pattern for this.
Go to arnecarlos.com, go to the blog, write crochet granny square, join, and bam, you'll get the pattern. It'll be there for you to enjoy and do.
This scarf will be so good in autumn.
Yeah.
When you clean up the garden before the snow is coming.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not too thick. It's like light and.
Yeah, I see myself styling it as well with a nice leather jacket or something to soften it you know, a very rough look with a little, you know, crochet scarf with a splash of color. I think it could look really cool.
I like this idea. I think we had a great idea.
It's a great idea, like always.
We decided to do scarves.
Yep, definitely. And it was fun, you know, that we could do this, a whole granny square from beginning to the end, our new format that we are trying out. I think that, you know, we've done already 2 embroidery episodes. We've done the Christmas ball, and now we've done this one. I think we can almost say that this is going to be a regular feature in a YouTube channel from now on. I'm hoping once a month. I don't want to promise once a month because you never know what can happen. But hopefully it will be a once a month occurrence here on our YouTube channel. And we are so happy that we got so many amazing comments when we did our Christmas ball podcast, when we did the embroidery podcasts. People are absolutely loving it. They're telling us how much they love sitting down, and it's kind of like they're in the conversation with us. They're sitting in our living room working with us. And I think that's a great feeling. And we're closing our eyes and we're pretending that we are in your living room right now, or in your study, or in your crafts room, or wherever, or in your kitchen, and that we've had a great time together. We talked about our projects.
The older lady told me that she took us to bed.
Oh yeah,
she woke up every morning.
She went to bed with us every evening.
She went to bed with us every evening.
Yeah, she was talking.
That was nice.
Yeah, she was talking about her iPad, obviously.
It was the iPad, but anyway.
Yeah. I looked at her and I said, "Oh, I like you. I'm gonna sit right next to you the whole class." And I did. She was so funny.
That was so cool.
Yeah, very nice lady. It's time to finish it up, and I guess that once you finish one, we can start a new one.
Yeah.
There we go. And I mean, you were happy as well. You were saying before we started the whole thing about your hair day, that you're having such a bad hair day.
I have a bad hair day today.
That you're glad that you're able to do the podcast like this, so that nobody can look at your hair.
Yeah. Just look at the nice square.
Look at the great square. It's done.
Finished.
From beginning to the end, and it's done. And it's looking stunning. I love the reds on the left side. And I love it that it's going that random way with a splash of purple, a splash of blue, a splash of green. And we love it.
Yes. Okay, finished.
So, the final result is done.
So just 8 more.
Yep.
And then we have a scarf.
Yeah, my scarf has 9 squares and it's crocheted together. If you want to see how this is done, remember, we have done videos. There's a video on how to crochet a granny square and a video on how to crochet them together, the squares. And it's coming up in the screen, a link somewhere here. So thank you so much for watching. And if you're not subscribing, please subscribe to our channel. There's loads of fun stuff. Sometimes we even do videos with Great Hair Day.